Hey, y'all hang on a little bit. I'm posting something. Hang on.
Oh, wow.
I gotta pin our stuff, dude.
All right. I got a head disturb on
Is
there.
this it? This is it here. Okay, hang on. Hang on, guys. We'll be right there. Nobody. Oh, there's wow. There's 5 people in the room already. Hang on, guys. We'll be right there. Just making sure.
Typical, typical.
we're we're on time, but we're still not ready. Right? Par for the
Never,
course, man.
dude.
They don't expect too much out of us, guys. This is the kind of the stuff that you're dealing with here. We're a mom and pop organization, and we're gonna run it like a mom and pop organization. Here we go. I'm gonna pin that one real quick. Make sure we're there. Why isn't that staying there? All right, hang on one more time. Yeah, I'll get to that in a little bit. All right, wow, 16 people in the room already. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been 7 days exactly. It's one of those rare feats where we're able to do the show continuously at the same
We've
time
been
on the
no,
same
we've
day.
been
Well,
consistent.
I mean, the week before, right? Day shift, right? Work comes into play. And Hebronville, Texas, baby. Hey, you tuned into the right day, Jose. Tuned into the right day. We got a lot of Hebronville talk today. Um, yeah, but Justin, it's just we go on those night shifts and we got those day shift record or the daytime recordings, and there's everybody's at work, right? Nobody wants to play hooky and watch the show, which is kind of disappointing, guys. You expect a little more out of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, um,
Jerry, hang on. You need to correct yourself on that one. I was 100% behind Tap. I even have it on my paper in there. I had Tap blowing out.
yeah, Jerry. I think we both picked Taft in this one. I think we picked them big. Kevin, the Valley guy, was the one thinking that Santa Rosa was going to run away with the district.
Yeah,
We
I had
were
Tap
a hunt.
a lot. I actually wanted to say, I want to, if you go back and watch that episode, I at that point said once Taft gets past Santa Rosa, they pretty much have a clean sweep the district, and I've repetitively said they should be undefeated. But
Yeah, yeah.
throwing that
So
out there.
yeah, so there's that. Hey, so we've got some news again. Um, we picked up another sponsor, which is actually pretty cool because it means that people are digging what we do and they believe in what we're doing. So it's pretty awesome. So let me open this up for you guys. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Let me open this up for you guys real quick. Like, thank you to Elite Tank and Solutions. They are now the sponsor of our Player of the Week trophy. That's right, I said trophy. We are now going to be providing trophies for our Player of the Week winners. We're going to be a little bit behind, so I think we started week 4 of the season, right,
Yeah,
Justin? So we'll have
yeah.
7 trophies coming, and they're actually pretty slick. It's something that I don't think anybody has done before as far as the type of trophy that we're giving out. So we'll go back to week 4 when we started giving the award out, and we'll start handing them out weekly. If we can make it out to your practice, which would be the best way we'd like to do it, we'll do it, but work obligations will come into stuff.
Give,
And
give me one
and we'll,
second. I'll show kind of a small what it kind of similar what it looks like real quick. One sec.
okay. I know, Steven, they're pretty sweet, right? So if you guys are watching and are following us on our social media, we got some new hats made. Nice little patch hat, 6-panel hat. Uh, we will have them available for sale pretty soon. We've got some that are already kind of notched out to the side already for some folks who've reached out to us, and
Hey, they're
we
flying.
appreciate. Yeah, they're flying, man. For what little we have, we don't have a lot yet because we weren't sure how these were going to look. These are the prototypes, right? We always come out with a prototype just to see how they're going to look and see what kind of reaction we're going to get before we actually put them out. So we're very surprised with the reaction, and we're happy with it. Yeah. So so you gave it away. So we're giving out mini helmets, right? That's our Player of the Week trophy. We're giving out mini helmets. It's gonna have our logo on one side, the new Spring Break logo, like you see here on the side, and it's gonna have the sponsored logo, Elite Tank Solutions, on the other side. On the bumper, it's gonna have our acronym STFU, and on the rear bumper, it's gonna have Player of the Week. So you guys that have won Player of the Week already, Cutter,
They're coming.
yeah, they're coming. So just be on the lookout. Once we get them, we'll set up a day to get out to your practices, and we'll hand them out and do a little photo op. But congratulations to you guys that are winning, and congratulations to our future winner tonight, which we know who it is, right? So just to refresh on these polls, guys, right? Because a lot of folks get confused. We have them running simultaneously on Twitter and on Facebook. You can vote on each one, but you cannot vote more than once on each poll. All right. So don't forget to go to both spots because sometimes we'll have a player run away with with the vote on one platform and a different player run away with the other.
Well, it happened
So
with RJ and Bryce week 4, our first one we did this year. I think Bryce
yeah,
ran away on Facebook, but RJ had enough on Twitter to outgas him
yep,
for the final, right? So
yeah.
it's a shame. I wish we'd have started week 1. We've done this in the past on the podcast for the people that haven't really been there since the very beginning. We used to do this kind of, and we had back then what we did the Port Isabel trip down
Yeah,
there.
yeah, we went down for the Battle of the Royal. We went down to Port Isabel, kind of knocked out two birds with one stone, and drove down there when Strunky was down there.
Those were
And
certificates, so those aren't nearly as cool as mini helmets.
yeah, that was just a certificate, and we dug into the rules and we found the exact subchapter and number and whatnot. And yeah, we're totally allowed to give these things out. So we're happy with that. We're happy we were able to give to these players who have done something a little more than the sticker, right? Because the stickers are cool. But mini helmets are awesome.
Yeah.
So the color scheme will change a little bit on the helmet, but other than that, that's essentially what it is. It's a mini helmet. So again, congratulations to our future winner tonight. So let's jump into the next subject. We've got cancer shirts. If you guys have been keeping up with our social media, they came in yesterday. We delivered a lot yesterday,
You
and
delivered a lot.
yeah, I delivered a lot yesterday, and dumped the rest in the mail. That had to go in the mail today, so you should be seeing them Friday or Saturday. Guys, thanks again. Uh, you guys helped us achieve that goal. The next step for us is to donate the check to the American Cancer Society, the Making Strides Corpus Christi, and we'll do a Photoshop with there. We're getting the whole big check made up and things like that. So again, thank you guys, and
Super cool.
yeah, thanks for supporting. And maybe next year, man. Now I delivered a couple to my wife's work yesterday, and all the ladies saw them. They're like, "Why didn't you tell us?" And why was asking my wife, "Why didn't you tell us? We would have ordered some." I was like, "So there was more, right?" But
We've had that same reaction, and my thing is, maybe it's the algorithm or something, but like, it doesn't seem like it gets a lot of traction. So maybe that was a last minute thing for us too. So who knows? Next
yeah,
year, it's out there. We start ramping it up a month prior to even 2 months prior. That way, we start building the list organically, and
yeah,
it's not
we'll
so
knock it out.
rushed.
Yeah, we'll knock it out ahead. That way you have it for the whole month of October instead of half of the month. And again, that's our fault, and we appreciate you guys dealing with the delays. There's still shortages everywhere. When we talked to the vendor, he had just gotten the shirts mid last week. And so he kind of turned them around as fast as he could. I'm glad there was no mistakes on them. So they're good. And again, guys, thank you again. Um, the next item we have here
Puff
is
watch.
the Eliza Huff watch, right? So West Oso went down to Ingleside last week, and they didn't come out victorious on the victorious end like they had wanted to.
He got what, 185?
183,
183.
183. He finished with 183 yards, and that puts him. And I had this stuff written down. I lost all my stuff. Hang on, 1459
We didn't get our graphic this week either for his countdown.
plus
But I did
183.
go out there today at the West Oso practice to present him his helmet sticker award, and that was cool. Coach Smithy and the staff were very welcoming. Elijah was obviously a very nice young man, well spoken. The whole team was excited. Kind of conveyed the message, right? It's an individual award, but we've pounded it. You've pounded it when you went to these practices, and I pounded it in today. That it's a team effort, right? And the offensive line should be really proud of what Elijah's done, man. He's one of the hottest running backs in the state yardage wise right now. So it's super cool whenever you got a running back doing that. I mean, you should take some pride, especially if you're offensive lineman. So that's something to be proud of for West Oso. And then they've honestly been in a lot of games this year. So the records don't always speak for how they're playing out there. And I think they should be a little bit proud for what Elijah's done so far.
Most definitely, most definitely. And he had to get what 175, an
He
average of
needs
175 per game.
175 over the next 5 games or the next four, whatever it was.
4 games.
He got 7, and we were a little worried about Ingleside on if he would get that because they've been stingy to teams this year, and he got it. So I think smooth sailing. Knock on wood for the kid. That I think he's got a very legit chance to break that DeAndre Fillmore record.
I think so too. He's got he's got the chance to do it. He's got a very good chance of doing it. So I was talking to AC on it, and Javier, thank you. He's got 1,651 yards right now. That's where he's at right now. Thank you for doing the math for me. I was trying to find something else. So I talked to AC, and DeAndre's in the San Antonio area. So if it gets pretty close to breaking it, maybe a good little piece of show content.
Bring them both on the show.
Get them both on here. Yeah. So they were they were getting at DeAndre saying, "Hey, if he's got a chance to break it, you need to come down for that game." So you never know. You could have a DeAndre Fillmore side in one of the last West Social games this season. No
Would be
promises, but he could be there. Hey, Latasha, how you doing? So the next item we had, if you guys made it through the end of last show, um, we there was a tweet that was shared by Riley Dodge that we kind of talked about and threw it in there in the last minute about offers, right? And if you're following recruiting, if you're a big recruitnik, um, you hear about these offers that are non-committable, right? And things like that. And so, that was the thing, right? I guess it was Florida State offered a kid up in the DFW area
the
and
leading receiver in the DFW
the
area.
leading receiver in the DFW area and pulled the commitment, right? He's gotten two official letters from the school and they essentially pulled the commitment. There's been no contact with the family from the Florida State coaching staff.
I don't even think they
Um,
pulled the commitment. That was what the up because if you pull a commitment from the kid, then it is what it is. He can't commit, right? But I think what the discrepancy was when you go back to it was he's trying to commit and they're not accepting his
they're
commitment
not
even though they
accepting the
offered him.
commitment, even
Yeah,
though,
they
yeah,
won't
that's
accept
what it
his
was.
commitment even though they offered him, right? Because you pull a commitment or you pull an offer from a kid and okay, oh well, then why would you commit there anyways? But the discrepancy, I think, was the fact that they won't accept his commitment even though they offered him, which is
Yeah.
kind of messed up. But I mean, our buddy Marco kind of expanded on that. He's in the recruitment for Rice University, so he was able to kind of touch on that a little bit for us.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it on the show. It was like, well, maybe it's kind of like gray shirting in a roundabout way, right? So and he said, if you can't get a kid, if you don't offer him, some people dig themselves in holes. Um, but you can only take what you can take, right? You've got a scholarship limit, right? 25 to 30 kids a year is what the NCAA allows you to take, right? Some schools have offered up to 600 2023 kids, and some have offered 200, right? They're offering them like car salesmen, right? So they're just like, hey, you come take this deal, right? And so it's all about communication, essentially what he said, right? You want to be in contact with the family and make sure they know what is happening, what could potentially happen in the long down the road, right? So it could be, they
You,
offer
you
this
know,
kid, but a kid with they want more comes available, right? So they're gonna give that scholarship to that kid versus the one that committed first or wants to commit first.
I think
Is that
that's kind of where you fall into the line of like, let's say, Lonnie's a good example here locally, right? So he's committed to Sam Houston State. Some people will look at Lonnie and be like, okay, well, I think Lonnie can get more. He's a 3-star recruit, possibly going to hit 4-star by the time the season's over. I think some people probably think like, I think there's a bigger opportunity for Lonnie, maybe let's say UTSA or something. But then you go back to this kid, he's leading the DFW, and he's not even being able to commit to FSU, even though they offered. Which then goes, it's like, if you're a parent of that kid, would you not want your son to go? Let's say Sam Houston, you go to Sam Houston, they roll out the red carpet for you, right? Constant communication. They're talking to you. You feel like you can take your kid there. Your kid feels good with the coaches. You feel good leaving your kid with those coaches and that staff, right? Versus, hey, we can't even get Florida State staff on the line, right? So I think that's where you see like kids like Lonnie slip into some of these smaller D1s, and people sit there and like Andrew Body. He went to Texas Southern. I think some people scratch their head on that, but if you talk to people close to Andrew, he loves the campus and the coaching staff. They were super welcoming to him, and they kept a good communication with his family. So and they've allowed them a lot of access. So I think that's where you start seeing some of these kids. You're like, man, they should went somewhere bigger, but then it's like, you hear stories like this, and then it makes you kind of opens your eyes a little bit onto what the recruiting tell like. It's kind of nasty. I think it's a lot nastier
it's
than what
dirty, man. I mean,
you
it
call
really
yourself
is, right?
what it is. You're selling yourself. They're selling themselves to you and your parents, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And then it can be gone like that, depending on what happens. So it's a tough business.
Yeah, I definitely want to be a part of it. So speaking college, the Hogs 6-0.
6-0.
6-0, potentially go 7-0. They host UT Permian Basin this week for homecoming. Guys, for a 6-0 team right now, the fan support's not really there. We have a Division II university, and I get it, right? They haven't been good for a very long time.
They're kind of out there.
So it's hard, right? It's hard, but man, for the price of a game and what you get, and it's a good atmosphere. I'm going to be heading down there this weekend.
It's
Uh,
actually pretty cool when they're winning like this. The last time I think we talked about it at work, there was like what 2010, '09.
yeah, it's been a
They
while.
they were putting some people in the stands. So I think you keep having years like this, it's gonna bring some people in, which they need because they're in some dire straits for some cash flow down there.
Yeah, the big thing is the facilities, right? Everybody asks, well, you need to pump money in the facility, which is true, but you got to have a winning team too, right? So it's which do you put first, right? You can't put your cart in front of the horse. You got to get there, right? So they're on the right track, right? So they win this week, showdown with top 5 Angelo State next week
Big
in
one.
San Angelo. That's a big one, right? They can win that game. Whoo, it's a
Number
statement.
three, San
Are
Angelo
they number
State.
3? Yeah, I knew they were top 5. I didn't know if they what number they were. Um, but after that, we got one more thank you. We had somebody else reach out to us for some photos, and we shared them last night. And the GP community loved them. Gabriel De Leon Sr. He's actually a former Mathis Pirate living down in the RGV right now. He sent us a message. Hey, would you guys like us to cover some games? And we give him the same spiel. We can't pay you. We do this out of our own pocket. But we're more than willing to promote your business, man. He was all on board, man. So he got some nice shots at that GP game. The GP community loved him. So thank you, Gabriel, again for volunteering your services, man. And we've got no problem helping you get your name out there, especially if you want to help promote the kids, especially kids around from this area, especially since you're 2 hours south.
I'll say one thing real quick about the photography community, and you can speak for this too. Is they're a super welcoming group. Annie, Kat, Blake. He's came on after us.
Yeah.
Some of
AC.
the some of the AC, some of the shooters for the Collar Times and KRS, and you got your local freelancers like AC and them, and very very good work is honestly put out from this area. Obviously in the RGV too, but don't get in their way on the sidelines. They'll tell you please move
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah.
usually not a please involved,
Yeah.
but they do a lot of good work. It's easy. You can always ask us, hey, where can we find some of these photos? If we have info on a game that those photographers are at, and you wanted something of your kid, we can get into touch with those guys really quick. And they're a good group of people around here, and they've always been real welcoming to us and very straightforward. And honestly, for the work they put in and the quality, the price you pay is honestly priceless for what you're getting from your
Yep.
kids. So it's really good stuff.
Yeah. And with that, to piggyback off that, don't just take the pictures offline. Just
Please don't.
please reach out to them and pay for them. They do this at their out of their own time, out of their own
Those
pocket.
lenses ain't cheap, dude.
Yeah, man. Some of them are like telescopes, dude. They're huge.
I'm talking
So
2 grand a lens used sometimes.
yeah.
They're not
So
cheap.
thank him. Send him a little something. I've sent folks to Gabe's side if they wanted to get him because he put his watermark on them, and I told them put your watermark on there, because I don't want people just taking his stuff, man. Um, but that's it for. Oh, actually, I got one more. And that's probably the most important one here. So last week, if you guys
Oh,
watched, we went a little longer than usual, right? We had a guest on from the Valley, Kevin. We love you, Kevin, but you went long. And I actually forgot a new segment we were going to have. So it's a segment we're going to call a segment that never was because she refuses to come on now. My wife had her picks. We brought her my wife's picks back, and she actually went 4-2. But
she was
I
always
told
good at the
yeah,
picks.
she was good at the picks. I just man, I was like, man, we got to get off. We got to get off. Justin's texting me on the side. Hey, dude, I got to go. I got like 5 minutes. So I got off and I totally forgot about it. And so yeah, she picked GP over Porter. She picked Ed Couch over Flower Bluff, Alice over TM, Taft over Santa Rosa, Lyford over Fowl, and Ingleside over West Oso, which brings her season total to 4-2, which is probably the way it's going to end. I
Come
tried
back
to
to us.
send her, I tried to send her picks now. She's like, I will not contribute. Uh,
Maybe I can
so
get Kinsey involved and they can both do it.
yeah, or do something. Yeah, we'll make our own WTF, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow,
Oh.
sizzle. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into last week, Justin. There was, all these noteworthy games that we listed kind of turned out to be blowouts.
They're blowouts, man.
Yeah,
It was a rough week though. We knew that kind of going into it. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I don't think we really thought they were going to end that bad.
no.
Um, but it was an eye opener for what some of our districts have, in store right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of foreshadow the next couple of weeks of what we're probably going to expect, right? Especially in the GP Flower Bluff district, that was kind of like I expected a little more out of Porter.
Hey, hang on. Explain pan.
Yeah, I can't.
Explain it. Explain it.
No, it needs its own segment. It needs its own segment.
Is it pan or is it bon?
No, it was Pancake, and now it's
Oh,
Pan,
okay, pancake.
which
Got it.
is
Got it.
stuck since seventh grade for the like my local GP
Uh huh.
friends,
Uh huh.
and then of course Spud at work 10
Yeah.
years around there. So I honestly hold two nicknames, one spanning 15 plus years, the other one spanning 10 years now,
Well,
which is
yeah.
pretty unheard of, I
Yeah.
think. So
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I,
Anyways, let's
yeah.
uh
So
let's move
anyways,
on.
Lyford Foul, that's the first one, right? Lyford Foul, big one for Foul. Uh, that's huge. Gets the ball rolling for Foul in district play, correct?
Dude, big time. Yeah. So district opener for both teams. Lyford comes out 0-1, Foul comes out 1-0. And this is probably Foul's best start. And I want to say, man, at least 10 years, you know. And that man, they could be undefeated, but they played that slugfest up in San Antonio against SAYMLA,
Yeah.
and which is essentially a prep school, right? And
Yeah.
they held their own, man. They lost it in the fourth quarter. So my man, Foul very close to being undefeated right now. Uh just like we said, right when they started 1-2 or 1-0, 2-0, Ruben's been planting this seed for a few years over there, man. The fruit's starting to ripen,
Yeah.
you know. And
Now they're looking
we had
good.
somebody, we had a couple, Stacia Jones, she chimed in here. Foul Furious jerseys at 806, man. So we got some Foul fans out there. They've got a helmet sticker award. They got another player up for a helmet sticker award coming up. They've got some players out there, man.
He's pieced together a really good group. And if you watch the last couple years in the offseason, it's been a lot of offseason work as well. Kids buying
Yeah,
in the program. Ruben's done a really good job of getting those kids as much equipment and, facilities and the nice things that the kids like. I mean, you look at their uniforms and stuff like that, and, the older folk might look over it and think, who needs all the flashy stuff? Well,
kids love
15,
it, man.
15 to 17-year-old boy likes it,
Yeah,
So that's what gets
yeah,
kids excited to play football.
yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is, and the record proves it. And I'm excited for Foul. I like Ruben a lot, and that was a big win for against Lyford because Lyford was looking pretty strong.
Yep.
You
They
can say
they actually
about
they
Lyford,
have
they're one of the teams that could give our guys some problems.
They have a
So
dude, man, Osmar there at quarterback, and I got to see him against Bishop. Very big kid, very strong kid, and that Foul team was the team that was out there that was scouting him. If you guys remember, I said there was a team out there scouting. It was Foul, and they said, "Man, he's a dude. If we control him, we can win that game." And that's essentially what they did. They controlled him on the ground, kept him about 100 yards, maybe about 90-ish, 100 yards on the
yeah,
ground. But he did all his damage during in the air. I think he threw for 206 that game, or low 200s. Um, and Foul got out with the win, 26-22. So
nice.
that sets up right now, if everything plays out the way it goes, um, showdown with San Diego last week of the season, right? Depending how San Diego faces up against Lyford. I mean, that could be it for the DC.
We're gonna have a couple last week, district championship games coming down to the wire. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, yeah. So that district's gonna be pretty interesting. That one at 16-3 AD2. So I mean that should be, man, we'll get there in a little bit, dude.
We're getting there, dude.
We're
We're
getting
getting
there.
there.
We,
Calm
we got a
down.
we got a ways to go. Calm down. All right. So anything else in the recaps? Because everything we're going to cover everything else in a little bit later. But
There's nothing really good in the recaps. We touched at the very beginning with Jerry 43-0 Santa Rosa. God, I have my paperwork right here. I need to look back
hey,
at it, Jerry.
48-0. Jerry's
Okay,
going to get mad
48.
at you.
That's my handwriting.
Yeah.
That's a big win. Costa continues to roll, do his thing. 300. He had like 400, almost 500 total yards of offense by himself. Ingleside looking tough again.
Yep.
Knocked off West Oso, like we touched on, though. Huff still got his yardage, which I'm glad
Jacobson
he got his
throwing for
yardage.
almost 300 yards again. I think he went through for 200, 290.
Jacobson and Jaden are both looking extremely well out there in Ingleside. They got a little bit of the McHugh coaching going on there with the already good coaching staff they had out in Ingleside right now. So you're seeing a lot of good things out of that offense. Which that offense and it's kind of setting up the Sinton and Ingleside matchup. That was a rivalry when the McHughes were there. Was pretty good one, and our buddy Carson Cave was involved in that as
Yeah. Hey,
well.
remember, and I think we did it off air, but and I don't know why. I think about it now, why we did it off air. It's no big deal. It was years ago. So the McHughes brothers, they're twins. They switched jerseys that game.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, and
try to throw people off on who was doing what.
yeah, one was a quarterback, one was a receiver, and they switched jerseys before the game. I don't know how many games they said they did it for, but that was a rumor, right? That had been going on. Oh, those guys switch jerseys all the time, and
Well, see, I think they did that when I want to say it was their senior year that they were doing that because they had the Tristan Barajas kid, or however you say
who
it,
was the quarterback, right?
was the quarterback at the time. Was like a
Yeah,
sophomore freshman. So they would swap jerseys because I want to say it was David who was really the primary receiver. Matt switched out to receiver as it went, so they were trying to draw double coverage on Matt and leave David wide open, who was the more I think was the more of a threat. Which we need to ask them again on that and see who's the liar and who's not, who was the bigger threat at receiver. Because I think it was David. But either way, that's a funny little tidbit about those dudes. Honestly, nothing surprising with them at this point.
Yeah, I'm actually messaging him right now because he messaged me earlier, and I was like, "Yeah, we're talking about you right now about who's the better at wide receiver. We'll see what kind of answer we get there."
That kind of drops you into the surprises, which I think this week the surprises were better than the noteworthies by far.
Yes,
Right?
yes, they were
Rockport Pleasanton.
32-31 in overtime.
David McHugh with the jersey switch story. LOL, Ernie.
Oh.
That's funny. See, there is something in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 32-31, Rockport over Pleasanton. So, were you watched this with me at the very end of that game, right? You weren't.
I did not. I was off that day.
Oh, you were off. That's what.
But
it was.
I saw the clip.
Yeah, you okay? So Jacob was doing his. He was hosting the Odom homecoming party at the stadium. That's what it was. That's
yes,
what it was.
that's
so
that's
I watched the end of the game.
Indeed.
I pretty much watched the third and fourth quarter of Rockport Pleasanton. And Pleasanton had some dudes on that team, right? You talked to Ace Seibert about it. That middle linebacker from Pleasanton was a beast. He said he absolutely mauled him one time on a hit. Me and his, the bigger man were talking about the game throughout the game. It looked honestly like Pleasanton was going to win that thing the entire time.
So let's go back and talk about Pleasanton just for a second. So Justin, we're talking about this before the game, and I just looked at Pleasanton's record and I dismissed it. Right, they're 2-4 and 0-1. Didn't even dig on who they played. They have played because Pleasanton went pretty far last year.
That was what we're talking about is I think that Pleasanton has a say in what that district does, even though they took that loss to Rockport. And they had a good year last year.
If I hadn't looked at that schedule, I would have said you're crazy. But no, looking at the schedule, they lost Antonian Prep week 1, 29-12. Antonian Prep spanked Somerset last week. But if you talk to those Somerset not last week, but the week before, like 40-something to 20 or something like that. But if you talk to the Somerset folks, they got job. They said they were throwing flags right and left. Our boy Robbie Chavez showed up to the game and said the refs threw a flag on him for just showing up. It was that bad. But they've lost to Bernie. They lost to Jourdanton. They beat Gonzalez, beat Poteet.
Jourdanton's having a good team.
Yeah, Jourdanton's has a very good team this year. They had a down year last year, but they've bounced back this year.
They only lost to 2 to Jourdanton.
They lost to 2 and 5 overtimes, 27-25. They beat Poteet, who went very deep last year, who's having a decent season this year, and they lost to Rockport 32-31 in overtime. So do not sleep on the Eagles. Do not.
It was weird watching that game with Rockport because, man, there were times where they could move the ball very well and times that they just absolutely couldn't help but get off the field and really quickly. And it was notable they went back to the wing tee, or the slot tee, excuse me. They stopped throwing as much as they had been in the beginning of the season. They felt like they could do some good things in district, running the ball a lot more than what they have been doing. And to me, it was Caden Kennedy. He had 14 carries for 119 yards. I even at one point texted Luke and was like, "Hey, man, where'd Kennedy come from? I don't remember seeing him week 1, out there. I think he was actually banged up in that week 1 game I watched against Miller. But he looked good. He ran really tough. And then, of course, the overtime, it got real hairy for him. They had a 4th down, and they threw I want to say it was a 20-something yard pass to the end zone to tie it in overtime. And then, they sealed it with Caden Kennedy going for 2. I mean, talk about a roller coaster of events, too, because at one point it looked like they were going to win and not go to overtime, and Pleasanton forced an overtime, and it was just a really good game. It was a much-needed win for Rockport starting district off, I think. Big-time confidence booster, but I wouldn't count that Pleasanton team out. This is a very good – we'll touch on it in the, actual Week 8 looks.
Week aheads, yeah.
This is a very good district to follow as we move forward because it's got a lot of very good teams that are all real similar in their style of play and also their just capability. So that's going to be very fun to watch as we get down the road.
Hey, there he is. There, Bomb's checking in. Cal Allen by murder. That's what he says. We'll talk about that a little bit, Bomb. We'll take your comments
Bomb,
here
bomb,
in a
you
little
got
bit.
bomb. You got to get with me on Friday before the game. I got your wristbands. Keep in mind, we got to do that.
Oh yeah, guys. If you see us, we still got a ton of wristbands. If you guys are interested, right? They're here. They're. Can you see
There you
them?
go.
I can see it. My screen's messing up, right? So
Nah, you got them. It's
we
on
got
there.
them. So we've got them. Just hit us up, guys. We'll hand them out easily. Um,
Bill George West.
yeah, Heberville George West, right? So
Shocker,
Heberville,
right?
yeah, Heberville starting an offer for the season and then winning their first two district games. Week one opening district against Banquetti, and this week against George West, which was a surprise. You know, we had George West pegged to come in here and kind of take names, and didn't happen that way. You know, Heberville ran for 437 yards, and a Player of the Week candidate. Um, Eden, I don't want to.
Oh yeah, no, I got it right here. It's Eden Pettis, 21
Eden
carries,
Pettis, yep.
46
Had
yards, 3 TDs.
Yep. So
Um,
man, that running game is back for Hebbronville, right? So we were kind of wondering where it's been. They had some quarterback issues. Um man, don't listen to that guy. That guy's posting that get Cal Allen's gonna score 60 something point. Well, I'm sorry, wait. That's his alter ego. It's Mr. Know It All that's saying that Cal
hey,
Allen's
Heavenville goes at 2-0 though. 2-0
they do.
and
They go 2-0. And
George West
George West
2.
1-2. Yeah. So Hebbronville, well, we'll talk about that look ahead, right? So that was a surprise there as well. And then, so this surprise here, we're going to kind of lump a bunch of surprises in this one together, right? Sitting Robstown, 83-20. Now, the surprise in this wasn't that Sitting won, but it was in the manner of
83
how
points.
they won 83 points. You know, not saying that's a bad thing, right? It was an eye popper, right? And we're gonna go to the OG here for a second to kind of talk about this, right? Because a few years ago, scoring this many points was frowned upon, right, Justin?
Yeah.
I
There was
mean,
even a segment on ESPN about him.
there was, right? So let's bring the OG out here just for a second. We may take some flack for this, but it's gonna be worth it, guys. Trust me.
There's no volume. Oh. No volume on that.
Oh, there wasn't.
No.
Oh man. Oh, dude. Okay.
What's
All
too
right.
high?
Well,
50,
anyways,
70, 80? You tell me. What's too high? Yeah.
yeah. What is
Nah,
too
that's
high?
no, I mean, yeah, and then you got Cal dropped 71 on LaFetia. GP dropped 72 on Brownsville Porter, and from the sound of it, it could have been even more.
Alice dropped 71 on the ferry the week before.
Yeah, and we talked about it. It's not that like we're shocked that these teams did this. It's more of like 56 points, 50 points, even sometimes 60. You see that periodically a lot across the state of Texas. But it's
Hmm.
when you start seeing 70 and the 80 on the board, that's when it's like, dang, like what happened there? Because a lot of times there is to an extent a unwritten rule and hey man, because these coaches are friends, right? For the most part, these guys
Yeah.
have worked with each other, they know each other, they do conventions, they talk at each other's stuff. So you're not trying to embarrass somebody, right? And I think where Herring took that heat back in the day was he was tired of getting to the fourth round and his guys were getting gassed when they actually played some competition because that team had played 4 quarters the entire season and his guys were having to sit out by the halfway through the
Right.
second quarter. So that's where he took the heat. But it was just something, I guess we lumped it in as surprises, but it was just kind of eye popping this week that we had a lot of teams throw up 70 plus on some people. So
Yep.
that was interesting.
Yeah. GP Porter 72-0, right? Flower Bluff Ed Couch 54-14. That was for Santa Rosa Taft 48-0, right? So I mean, it happens, right? And especially in today's age of spread offenses, you can actually go out there and not try to score and still score, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, this isn't a knock on Herring back in 60, but man, he was ahead of his time.
I'll tell you what,
He
dude.
was ahead of his time.
So I'm an offensive person. If I had the opportunity to drop 80 on someone, probably would take it because at the end of the day, dude, this is your kid's Most of these dudes ain't gonna make it to college ball, right? That's just the simple fact. There's not across
Hey, if you
the
talk to Adrian
America,
Salazar, we've
there's
got
a
no
lot that
D1
are gonna make.
talent down here. None of these kids are going to college.
I mean, so how come it's not fair to sit your kids out the whole season, half of the season, just because other teams can't stop you? I'm not saying you have to try to continually pump gas for 4 quarters like we've been pumping gas lately,
Oh, we've
but
been pumping a lot of gas, pal.
the thing is, like,
Thank
dude,
you,
like
sponsors.
I get it. Like that's your job to stop them. That's your job as a defense and a team is to stop them on offense. So people sometimes get a little soft when it comes to certain things like that, but it is what it
I
is.
remember that, Sergio. Sorry, with the Cash brothers, right? The Cash brothers were down there in Freer just scoring right and left. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that, man. Back in the 80s, before ESPN was doing these outside the lines, Freer was a powerhouse. Which is weird now if you think about it now, right? Because Freer's been struggling lately. But yeah, they had some. Were they twins, Sergio? I think they were twins, or they may have been a year apart. But man, they would put up a lot of points, and this was before the spread. So I mean, it is what it is, right? I
It
mean,
is what it is.
it is
Stop
what it
them.
is. Yeah. So there's that, right? So let's jump into our game of the week, right? Yeah, okay, they were twins. Thank you. Uh TM versus Alice. So I didn't see any of this game. I like just like Justin said, I was Grand Marshal here in Odom, right? That's what they like to tell me at work. I'm shaking hands and kissing babies. TM Alice, 49-19 Alice. And if you guys remember, I said this was a statement game for TM, right? They had to win this game to make a statement to say that they were for real. I
So I
still
thought
think they're good, but
so.
not.
Okay, so yeah, you're 100% right, right? Because we thought that was the measuring stick, right? So it's like we know TM's good, but are you just average good, or are you like have you finally kind of jumped into that realm where it's like, hey, we can beat Alice, we can beat Cal Allen? Have you got to that level, right, of good? And honestly, watching the game at the very beginning, of course, Alice kind of scored immediately on him, but then TM answered right back, and I was like, all right, like okay, here we go. They're gonna hang in there, and then they're just like Alice offensively. The only way they were really stopping themselves was they would get in their own way, right? Every now and then they'd get in their own way. Team would put them in kind of they'd give them a little bit of a bind, but they would normally it was Alice stopping themselves. But TM would get and same thing on offense for TM. They would get down there and like they just couldn't finish drives off, and eventually they got gapped, and then at that point you get tired and whatnot, and I still think team's a good team. I just to me it was like, man, dude, like not this year. They're not there yet. They haven't got to that Alice Cal Allen level yet in that district. So 49-19 win for Alice, 406 total yards. Defense continues to look really good for Alice. Yeah, Joe, TM can still sneak in as this fourth place spot. That's what we talked about last show. Was we know
They
they're going
could
to
go in
probably
the third.
they're probably going to get in the playoffs as the third or the fourth for sure. It was just for us. It was like, can they finally get to that level of like, hey, we're looking for a DC, or like, hey, we're in second place, which they haven't gotten to yet. So that was what we were looking for this week. Cutter 267, 3 TDs, and then for TM, Moody had 140 yards with I think a touchdown as well. But Alice looked good the entire game. They came out pretty fired up. The defense to me looks pretty stout. I think it's going to be interesting. We'll get into that for this game of the week. But all in all, Alice continued to be Alice. TM not quite there yet for me, but I don't think that's knocking TM. It's just it is what it is right now. TM's having a really good year. I think they can definitely be proud of it. A lot better than years past. But
They're building.
there's
They're
still
building.
there's still that gap, right? There's still that gap, and they had a chance early on in that game to kind of I think maybe this could have been a maybe 35-26 game area, but just they couldn't quite overcome that little bit of a gap early on that they set themselves up with by not getting in the end zone a couple times. But other than that, man, it was kind of what we expected, I think. But definitely, there's some good things for TM to look at moving forward into the season. Definitely, probably going to make the playoffs though.
Okay. So with that, let's jump into our segue before we jump into next week and our next week game of the week and the special guest that we have coming on. We've got helmet. All right, guys. Last week, I think we were hurting for
Hurting for
him, right? And this week we got a bunch. So let me go ahead and pull these up real quick. And
we got one out in California.
we got a submission from California, dude. So we're getting some reach, pal. right?
Yeah. He gets a helmet sticker just cause, man.
He gets one just because, right?
Just
All right,
because they
hang on just
lose.
a second, guys, and here we go. I think we got about 10 this week, right? So
Bryce, another usual on the show, it seems like now.
yeah, a lot of the Cal Island guys, a lot of repeat offenders.
I mean, send the stuff in. That's what we ask for. Right? Send your stuff in. We get you on here. So, it's crazy to see Cal Allen in the shotgun so much as they have been this year, right? And they
I
got
like
guys
it.
that are catching the ball. Oh, yeah, I like it for sure, too. I mean, when you lose Effie, I mean, it kind of makes you lean a little bit probably more towards the pass anyways. And I think people thought Campbell was going to throw the ball a lot more once Danaher retired anyways. So it's nice to see that kind of come into fruition, right?
But you hear that, right? You're like, okay, are they really going to, right? But man, they've had.
Yeah. And Bryce has a good arm, man. He's a good quarterback. He moves the pocket really well. You see right there, he's moving. He can throw on the run. Good stuff. They're gonna be really tough moving forward. 7-0. They're gonna be a tough team. They always are a tough team to beat, but it's looking more so now.
So this was a 60-0 final in this one, 68-0, I think, final in this game.
So Ernie's a track star. Unbelievable speed out of Ernie Campbell. Yeah, look at him go. That's quick burst.
Yep, that was his only catch. His only catch, and it was for a touchdown.
He's so slender, man. He can just tiptoe the sideline.
Yep.
Big Pettis from foul. 5 tackles, 1 interception. Yeah, Robert Eads a beast, dude. Big time. Yeah, Rubio's good too, brother.
Speaking of beast, right here's another guy. 99-yard touchdown reception right here.
Dude, he's averaging like 60-something yards a catch or something.
Something crazy.
Something stupid. Colton's a big kid, dude. He's also a track star, which when you have that 6'3" body frame, 6'3" frame, and he's a track star, yeah, he's gonna be a problem. He's only a junior. Very good looking kid. He bully guys on the outside too. That right there, he just bullies guys.
Looking at this GP roster, they've got a pretty young team.
They're very young.
Look, there's Huffy again. Look, he can do it in the air too. He can catch the ball.
Yep. Like meeting Huff today, man. He's got good size on him. He looks the part. Every bit of it. Stanton.
That's his 5th interception on the year for Ray.
I don't think these uniforms get talked about enough. I love them.
Yeah,
I love them.
Bringing the silver bullets back.
Yes, dude. With the combo and everything looks great. But when you go see Troutman, I ain't seen Troutman in a while, man.
He's been pretty quiet, man. Normally we hear a lot of stuff about Coach Troutman at this time of year, but we may have a reason to after this segment, right? To go see him again. We'll see, right?
Sure.
Speaking of big games, right? This was a tough one. I'm not putting him on the Player of the Week nominations.
Nice pick right there, right?
Yep,
high five. That's it for me. The high five.
Luke, man, it seems like Luke's been in high school for like 6 years, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
6 year senior, dude. Luke Johnson.
It was his coming out party against the Miller game. We had an interception. He had a pick 6 that game.
Yes.
4 years ago.
Next week, dude. Thursday next week. Cannot wait.
Yeah. Next week.
It kind of brings us back to like what, 19 and 2020?
Why did we not put that down as a noteworthy game? We don't even have that listed as a noteworthy game. Logan DeWalt
next week.
Together.
It's not this week. It's next week. It's not this
21st.
week.
21st. That's right. 21st. Yeah. 20th.
That's more like game of the week quality. Oh.
Yeah.
Skylar Rubio again. He's a habitual offender.
Yep.
Send the stuff in, man. Uh-oh, you froze. What? Yeah, did everything just die? Oh, what? We're having a good show too. Well, I wonder where it froze for the people. Hang on. That's okay. Well, I'm live still. We'll see if Jacob can join in. That's annoying. Um. Anyways, so if Jake can't get back in, let me see where he's at. It froze on Skylar Rubio. Yeah. Still live though. Sorry, guys. Hey, it's got me live, but you're not in. Hey, there's Ryan. Oh, technology's awesome, Ryan. Are you trying to get back in or what? What happened? Because I can't send you an invite to this, can I? Oh, your internet's down? Awesome. Jacob living in the country is once again making stuff hard for us. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep you on real quick. So let me just talk and I'll have you speaker so we can see. Dude, if it ain't me, it's you, right? We never have a clean show. So, so we.
We got it. Let's see. It's working, it's thinking. Okay. I'm back on.
All right, you're back on. Jacob's coming back on. Here we go. Wow. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Ryan, technology's awesome, isn't it? Joe, appreciate it. Yeah, it froze. Gosh. Lariska, thank you. We'll have you on here soon. See if Jake can get in the show. Well, I thought he was going to be. Anyways, since we're waiting on Jacob to get back in, I'll go ahead and, release my helmet sticker of the week, which was, it's not the same, dude. It feels weird. Just one person in here. Very weird. I went with Bryce Burnett out of Cal Allen for my helmet sticker. And then I also picked Ernie Campbell out of Refugio. 2 helmet stickers this week. We had a bunch of entries. Ernie was super impressive to me when we were out there with Ryan and Ryan Linney with Refugio Sports Network, watching them against Three Rivers. So I felt like Ernie earned one. The speed alone says it all. So him and Bryce will be getting one for me, and then I'll wait for Jacob to come in with his. And if not, then I'll explain it because I got it written down for him. Let me see where he's at again. Wow. Can I add you to the deal? Add a source. It doesn't allow me to. Should we end it and try to restart it? Okay, so Jacob's going to end this and he's going to reopen it and we'll pick up where we left off. So hop off this one and join the next one, guys. This is Jacob's fault. Let me know when you send it. I'll pull my email up. Send me one yet?
Hey, there we go. We're back.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, it's weird with one person in here. You feel like a
Hey, but everybody's still here. That's weird, right? You're like, it's like on Wayne's World, dude, where he's like, oh, I'm okay now, and it's like his head's gonna explode. All right, okay, dude. Sorry, sorry.
So I released mine. There wasn't after Skylar. There was nothing.
That was a nice little play there at the end. They had the defensive end from West Oso making a pick six or a interception there on the 4-yard line. So Justin,
Ernest.
And mine, I went total defense with mine, right? So I've got Anthony Pena from Alice, the defensive end, and Ray Bettis from Sitting, the free safety. Guys, you are my helmet sticker winners for week 7. Robert wants to show Rubio again. Just he can't get enough of the cats, I guess. But they sent him in. Yeah, I know, Joe, right? All these damn kids get messing up my connection. I don't know what it was, dude, but I lose connection here with Spectrum all the time. And it's just like Justin said, it's living in the country, I guess, is what it is.
So what is cool though, is we'll be able to give, I'll be able to present Bryce his helmet sticker prior to the game Friday, hopefully. And then same for you with Alice. So I'm going to be very early. So I'm going to try to reach out. We can try to reach out to some of the coaches and say, maybe they'll let us come in beforehand and give the sticker before the game, before warm-ups, and then vice versa with Alice, so they're on before the games, which would be
Yeah.
cool because it
Yeah.
always sucks when you have to try to talk to the team that just lost.
Yeah.
It's never fun. I'd rather talk to the dudes and
Before.
speak to
Yeah.
them beforehand, right? It's a lot more fun that way. So hopefully we can knock that out.
Yeah. Okay. Again, sorry guys for living out in the country and have a crappy internet connection. Ryan, man, it's gonna be tough, man. If the Battle of Royal is undefeated again? It's gonna be tough, dude. It's gonna be a coin toss for us. I don't know. We'll see. It's a lot closer drive to Refugio than it is to Harlingen. But let's go ahead and jump into our
Guess the week.
week 8 game of the week. For that, we've got a special guest coming on. KRS6 news director Larissa Liska. How you doing, ma'am?
Good. How are y'all?
We are not bad. We could be doing a whole lot better if it wasn't for my crappy internet connection, but we are doing great.
We face that all the time. You're good. I don't know how often people see it, but it happens all the time.
So if you guys aren't familiar, Larissa's been here in the Coastal Bend, I guess midsummer you got here, right? But what most people may not know, you're a Corpus Christi native, correct?
That's right. From the sticks over in George West and Three Rivers, so I understand the internet connection.
So tell us about your journey here for a little bit. Tell us about yourself for the folks that may be uninitiated.
So I went to school at, I graduated from George West, but I lived in Three Rivers. And then I went to UT in Austin. From there, my first job was a part-time sports producer at San Antonio. So that was a great experience because I got to see the Spurs play, got to see UT beat Notre Dame in overtime. So that was great. And then from there, my first on-air start was very cold in Michigan, but I'll take it where I can get it. And then I went to Georgia, Amarillo, and now here. The cool thing about Georgia, though, is I got to watch Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia play. I've seen Alabama play twice. They lost both, and one was to Joe Burrow.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
That was a great game. I highlights field level for that game, so super, super great experience.
I really wish you would have been at the week 2 game this year, but okay, whatever, right? We'll take what we can get, right? So Larissa, you're now the sports director there at Channel 6, taking over for longtime sports director Alan Harwell, right? How's that, having to fill in those shoes? It's got to be pretty tough, huh?
Oh, it is. I'm still messaging him from time to time, trying to get some advice here and there. But it's funny. I told him, I said, at least I got to watch you growing up. So, I got to watch the legend. And then he said, oh, man, you just aged me. But no, I learned a lot from him and I'm still learning. I love that we do our game night South Texas games on Thursday nights. And actually the Miller versus Vets game will be on Channel 6 next Thursday. So super excited about that for game night South Texas next week.
Yeah, hey, that's going to be a good one.
Real quick, you said you grew up watching Alan Harwell. I did too, right? Hey, don't you miss when him and Dan McReynolds used to host the Blitz and they would crack the helmets and then was it Dan or was it Alan that would always go up the gut? Who was that? Which one was it? Was it Dan?
Oh man, I don't remember, but I also loved when they brought out the desk to the football stadiums. Oh, that was so good. I heard it's really hard to carry, so I don't blame them not wanting to do that anymore.
That's what they got interns for, right?
Exactly.
So Larissa, we brought Larissa on to talk about, because I mean, if it seems it's no big secret, right? This game is on everybody's radar, the Alice versus Cal Allen. This is also the KRS 6 game of the week as well. So let's get some of your input. You've seen both of these teams in person, right? So I mean, what do you think about this game overall? Not asking for prediction, but just give us your thoughts.
I'm excited. I really love, I think the key is going to be the Alice high-powered offense versus the Cal Allen stout defense. I really want to see how that matchup stacks up. I know that Cal Allen, loves to get a couple interceptions, and they'll get it at the goal line too. But I love what Cutter Stewart, leaving Orange Grove to go to Alice, what he's been able to do there. They can throw the ball very well. That opens up the run game, and they've got a great line on the O-line. So I'm excited to see where that matchup stacks up. But also, too, I feel like where Alice has gotten a lot of their points lately is special teams. I think in the past 2 games, they've had at least one kick return for a touchdown. Last week, it was 88 yards. I think the week before that, it might have been 60, 70 yards. So their special teams has really helped carry them along the way. But then again, like you said, Bryce Burnett, he's been doing wondrous things. When we started the season, we thought, oh, Cal Allen, everybody told me Cal Allen runs the ball. Cal Allen runs the ball. Well, heck, last year they had a little over 500 passing yards. They're already over 1,000 this year, already doubled it.
That's what the impressive thing about this Cal Allen team is they're scoring on in every aspect of the game, special teams, defense, offense, in the air, on the ground. I mean, they're doing it all, right? Which is something you haven't really heard of Cal Allen doing since what, Justin, the Gage Lamb era, probably.
Yeah, Gage, but even then, it was still pretty heavy run. They really threw the ball more. The last time they were really throwing was, I would say,
Was it Duke?
um, it was more Duke. This team's more comparable to what Ryan Duke and those boys did when they went to state back in '06. And then you had Merrick throwing after that, and then you had before that, of course you had Chambliss throwing the ball. But yeah, Duke was really the last guy that was throwing it as much as these dudes are. But 45 points a game from Cal Allen and only allowing 8. I like to look at that stat as well. And Allen's 36 a game and only allowing 13. So they're stacking up nicely. But what Larissa said was really true about Alice, the special teams. They're getting good field position even when they're not scoring on kickoff and punt returns, and they're stopping teams and forcing bad field position as well. So that is something we should keep an eye on. I like that you brought that up because it's something that I don't think a lot of people look at a lot as special teams. And then, yeah, you are right. The stout defense of Cal Allen always is there. So for me, the stat line last week, right, was no one sacked Cutter, which that still hasn't gotten confirmed. But we talked about how Cutter gets the ball out extremely quick. It's going to be I'm interested to see how he does against this Cal Allen defense on if they'll get a sack on him finally, if they'll force pressure, if he has to leave the pocket, right? Because he had the kind of bum knee early on in the year. I think that could play a little bit of a factor into it. But all in all,
hey, alleged.
You are right. It is going to shape up. Yeah, Robert, front four on defense. It is going to stack up a really nice matchup against offense and defense. And then, of course, when you got an offense like Cal Allen has right now, and their defense is playing good, tough team to beat. Tough team to beat.
I thought they were going to take a big hit with Epi being gone, but the running back by committee is it's done its job, right? I mean, you got the Lamb kid who's carrying the load. You got Luke Medina who's carrying the load. Bryce. I mean, they're doing it, man. I mean, on orthodoxly by Cal Allen standards, but they're doing it.
Gage Lamb's little brother, by the way.
Is it? Yep, that's what I figured. I figured there was some relation there.
Yep, that's him.
And I will say this about the sack stat. So again, Alice has not allowed a sack all season for Cutter, but Cutter did tell me when he did get injured, I believe when it was in the Vets game, and his backup came in, they did allow one sack there. And his backup was like, dang, of course it'd be when you're out. So yeah, Cutter has not been sacked yet, but I believe they've allowed one sack against Vets.
He gets the ball out so quick, it's hard to get back there that fast. I mean, he gets the ball out very quick. He almost doesn't even drop back sometimes if you really watch him. He turns and zips it. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
She couldn't resist. Picks her back.
Oh wow! Yes, I love it. Good job, Beck. Way to come back to us.
It was the public mea culpa. What else, Larissa? What else are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, just other matchups or that game in general. I'm just really excited for. There's a lot of good games going on this week, but that one's definitely my favorite one to watch because I've heard the talk. I've heard how Cal Allen's. Last year I believe they shut out Alice 35-0. I believe was the score, and I've heard how Cal Allen's just kind of dominated this matchups in the last 10 years. But Alice, when I stopped by practice this week, you can just tell they've got a different vibe. They believe this is the year. They all believe in what Cutter has been able to put together. And so I'm just really excited to see, will that come into fruition? Is that really going to happen?
Yes. A lot of folks are predicting a blowout in this game. I'd like to see a close game. I think it's going to be close. That's just what I think. Whether that I'm wrong along, especially if you ask my wife. I'm wrong a lot. So I could be wrong on this one too. And I think, Justin, if we did these head-to-heads, I always lost them most of the time. So
I want to see this is Alice's chance to redeem themselves for me because they really I had a lot of high expectation coming into the Vets game this earlier on.
Yep. As did everybody else, right?
Not as fair because I think it was noticeable that our allegedly hurt quarterback was hurt. So I think he looks a lot better now, healed. Yep. So, and that's what we talked about earlier when we were talking at first. I kind of thought, man, I'm thinking kind of blowout for Cal Allen. But it's hard to say that because if Cutter's full strength, then you throw out the Flower Bluff game, which they both, 21-20, Alice beat Bluff, and then Cal Allen smoked Bluff, of course. But
But
I
the
don't know.
LaFeria game was pretty. I mean,
I think Cal Allen wins this, though. I do think Cal Allen wins this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the pedigree of Cal Allen to win this game.
I am too. I'm gonna pick Cal Allen in this one. I don't think it's gonna be the blowout everybody is saying. I think I'm with you, Larissa, on this. I think the mindset may have flipped with the Alice kids in the last couple of years. I think they'll be ready for this one. I think they'll make it competitive. But I don't think I think that defense is gonna be too much.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
I want to see how well Alice's O-line holds them off. See if
Yeah,
they can do it, because that'll be tough.
yeah.
Yes.
So what else are you looking forward to this week? What other games?
Let's see. So I'm staying in town. I know I'm trying to think of all the good games. There's a lot of great games next week. I'll say that for sure. My mind's already ahead on next week, which I know I shouldn't be. But I'll be hopping around. I'll be in town. I'll be at Miller and Moody, and then the other game that I will be at, I'm gonna get the Cabinets game as well. I'm trying to think this week. Yeah, all my focus is on Alice and Cal Allen, just because I'm looking so far ahead next week. I mean, I could tell you all the games I'm thinking about. We said it earlier: Vets, Miller, Refugio, Shiner. There's just so many great games next week.
1 week at a time. 1 week at a time.
They
That's
did. So I'll definitely have to jump on that. But right now, I know I'm even trying to think where I'm sending people out. You know, Ingleside has some good talent this year. So we'll be out there for sure. And I believe we have somebody going, George West, Banchetti. Their quarterback got banged up a little bit last week, but I don't think it was too bad. And George West is my alma mater, so I know they're trying to regroup. So it'll be interesting to see how they stack up. Banchetti started off strong, and I want to see how they do and if they can get it done this week.
Yep. And I think, man, we don't have any of those games on our look forward list, but they're definitely a different perspective. But Larissa, we're not going to keep you any longer. We know you got things to do. I think you've got your newscast to get ready for here in a couple of minutes. We went a little longer. We told her to get on at 8:30, and she's been patiently sitting in the waiting
who's
room.
getting sent to Alice and Cal Allen, Larissa, or are they sending?
No, we always send Patrick Johnstone to our game of the week. They keep me in town, so I always miss out on those, and I'm always looking forward to the highlights. You know, I was really excited this week. This year we gave Refugio their first trophy for a game of the week. They had never played for one. It wasn't because they had played for one; they just never played for one. So they were super excited. So. You know, it's just fun to go see those teams and stuff. So that's what I do during the week is I'll go deliver them the trophy, because the trophy they get Friday night, it says game of the week, but it doesn't have the score and the outcome. So that's probably one of the favorite things I do during the week.
About to say, Alan Harwell got to go to all the big games of the week. We'd always run into Alan.
Yeah, we always ran into him. Yeah,
they flip the switch. They keep me close. Close. So I have to edit more highlights. I think I'm editing about 8 highlights versus 1 if I were going out there. So it's definitely crunch mode. There's a lot of times where I'm about to go on and I click submit right before.
That's crazy. I couldn't do that. I'm too slow.
Well, Larissa, thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time, and you're welcome back. Anytime you want to come on, shoot us a message or something. We'll work you in somehow.
Yeah, I love it. And like I said, next week, there's so many great games. I could talk about any of those next week. And congratulations, I'll say, to Ernest the Flash, because getting that TCU offer, another big offer in the Big 12. So congratulations.
All right, Larissa, thanks again. And we'll see you next Thursday, because we'll be out there.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks a lot. And that was Larissa Liska, the KRS6 Sports News Director. Very presentable, very awesome chick, right? I ran into her when I was giving Taft the Back Road Brawl trophy.
Oh yeah,
that's that. It didn't feel good.
Still in here, Ernie?
It didn't feel good. Jerry's probably in here. Jerry's gonna be laughing here in a little bit.
No, Larissa, man, I haven't ran into her yet, but me and you've always had a pretty good relation with the local media, right? Ever since we forced our way in 2018 with them.
Yeah.
So it's right to finally be baptized into that friendship with her, right? Of like, hey, we've talked now. We can now make inside jokes like we used to with Jeff on the sideline when he got screamed at by Justin Evans.
That will never.
He got screamed at by Justin Evans and he was bewildered.
Yeah, why is he yelling at me? That was awesome.
That's never gonna die down. That's what week 8 noteworthies now. That's the ticket.
Actually, we've got our player of the week.
Ooh, the mini helmet. The mini helmet.
So a couple things I want to show you guys. Just show
you helmet recipient.
how this thing shook out here. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen here for a little bit. We don't need sound on this, so it'll be
Which one of
okay.
these?
So here was our results from Twitter. Right, very close on Twitter. Right, 29% to 31% for Juarez over Durrett. And then if you come over to our Facebook results, Gabe kind of ran away with it, 45% of the vote to 11. So congratulations.
Like 2,000 votes on that Facebook one, or something like
Yeah,
that.
2,000
A lot
votes
of
on that one.
traction. Love it.
Our Elite Tank Solutions Player of the Week, Gabriel Juarez from Gregory Portland. Congratulations. Once your helmet gets in, we'll make it out to practice or sometime and deliver it to you.
Go
And
Cats.
yeah, thank you, Javier Ramirez, again for the graphic, always coming through and taking care of us, especially on these last minute crunches. Man, we really appreciate it. But our noteworthy games for next week. Let's wrap it up.
Real quick, since I
What do
watched
you
Gabe's
Oh,
account,
wait. Oh, I want to do this. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
man, he's a beast, dude. He's a big kid.
He's a
I
junior.
was surprised when I saw him last year, and then it comes into this year again. If you stack him up next to Brody Mitchell, who I think is the big time linebacker for us, like when you think of the linebacker, you think Brody right away. And Gabe's right there with him, dude. He's a big kid, got good size, he makes a lot of plays for us. Very, very nice to have him on that GP team. I'm very
And if
very
you guys
happy
didn't see
with
it,
him on
if
that
you guys
GP.
didn't see it, he had 10 tackles, 2 block punts, 1 for a touchdown, and 2 quarterback hurries. Very good, and that was in a half. Right,
Yep.
that was in a half of play because they pulled them all in the second quarter. In the
Real
third,
aggressive,
yeah.
aggressive defensive player. You love that from a linebacker, especially. Plays real heads up as well.
Yep.
So just wanted to touch on that.
Congratulations.
I've seen him a lot personally.
So that takes us to our noteworthy games, right? So we've got a few, right? There's a few of them on here.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Beeville, Rockport, Fulton. We kind of touched on this district a little bit with Pleasanton.
It's just
Excuse
a
me.
big, that's what got us talking whenever we were talking about the game this week, Beaver Rockport, which is kind of brings up some, there's a little history here. Ace, I think, never beat Beeville in junior high. We need to talk to Luke about that. But when Rockport's junior high was playing Beeville back in the day when Ace was in junior high, they never beat him. So there's probably there's a little rivalry right there brewing. Right now they're in the same district. You know, Rockport's 3-3, 1-0 in district. Beeville's 4-2, 1-0 in district. So they're pretty familiar with each other. And then we were talking about, the winner of this is gonna. We were like at first thinking, it's kind of a wide open district champ race, but Lavernia, Beeville, Rockport, that's your 3 heavy hitters. And then I said, well, you can't really count Pleasanton out because they're a lot better than what that record shows. And that's when you start digging in there and seeing kind of who Pleasanton has played and lost, right? So, this is an interesting game right here. And it's to me, it's super similar and super close. It's really one of those ones that could go 50-50. It's going to be less mistakes, which is kind of the cliche thing to say, but less mistakes and the better game plan is going to take this one, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm torn on it. I want to say Rockport because I love Rockport, but Beeville's not a slouch, man. They're having a decent year, 4-2, 1-0. They were ranked in state at one point.
Yeah, both were, right? Both were. I think Beeville was top 10 at one time, didn't they? And then they lost to Somerset and they flipped, right? Somerset jumped up to 8 and Beeville dropped out. And then I think Rockport started the year top 20. But again, Jay's schedule's hard and they lost a few games to start. They lost to Miller, right? And who hasn't lost to Miller so far this year? So they dropped out of the rankings after that. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But I mean, they've scheduled hard. Don't let the record deceive you. But that district, just like you talked about, Floresville 0-1, Pleasanton 0-1, Lavernia is 1-0, Calhoun's 0-1. Then you got the 2 undefeated.
Team beat a Sinton team as well.
It did. That Lavernia team has beaten some
So
decent teams.
Man, I'm telling you, this is a district that people should pencil in. What is it? It's district. You got it pulled up. What is the district?
15 4AD1.
4AD1, District 15, right? Who they're going to eventually see the District 14 guys, the Cow Island crew, right?
Because that's the Valley District. Yep.
And so it's going to, or 16 or 15, whatever. Either way, this is a good district, man. People really ought to pencil in this and watch this very close, especially if you're a Cal Allen or a Alice fan. Watch to see what's coming out of this district because you will see it come playoffs, round 1 or 2. You're going to see it.
Yep.
And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be good games, and don't count Pleasanton out. And I honestly wouldn't count Floresville out either. Floresville's a team that could play spoiler as well. So just note that in there for the Rockport fans and Beeville fans.
Yep, we're about to jump in that one. Larissa shit forgot to add Sitting versus Orange Grove is another game she's looking forward to. Almost the game of the week. That's tough, right? I mean, it is tough. Ken Martin checking
Wow.
in from California. You told that guy to send his highlight in, right? You spreading the word about Celtics football over there in Cali. I bet, right? We appreciate it. Our next game to look at is Odom versus Hebronville. Odom,
Woo,
my Owls. It's because I was there, right? They win. They
finally.
break into the win column. Best 1-6 team in the state. That's my opinion. All right. They go into Hebronville, who's sporting a 2-0 record, like we talked about earlier. This should be a very good game. Hebronville still has a chance to play spoiler and win district, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a couple years since Hebronville has beaten Odom, but I mean, it's that everybody's had Odom's number this year, right? Just something breaks. Something just happened. They're just not getting the breaks this year, right? So Odom's fighting for playoff seeding, hopefully to make the playoffs and get a decent seed, right? I've kind of accept they're going to be a 3 or 4 somewhere around there. Robert over there bombs. Skidmore can beat Odom. Be quiet. Yeah, if my nephew was still there, maybe. But I'm gonna go with Odom. And actually, let's go back to the other one. So I'm gonna take Rockport in that Rockport Beeville game, and I'm gonna take Odom in this one. Of course, they'll burn my house down if I don't pick Odom.
Yeah.
So
No.
so
I think
I
I'm gonna roll with Odom as well this week. I think y'all got him. I think y'all got.
but that running game is starting to click there in Hebronville, man. That's makes me nervous. You know, whenever they haven't had that dominant runner like they've had in the last few years, the Salazars and the Almaraz kids and
Oh, that
things like that.
the bull. Who's that? The bull. Remember that one?
I don't remember
The
what the
first star.
Beast was. He the
The
Beast?
beast. There it was the
The Beast,
beast.
yeah, and the kid was yoked, man. He was a solid kid, but they always have good running backs coming out of Hebronville and maybe Eden the next one.
Yep.
So keep an eye. I mean, I hate to say it, but I got Odom in this one. Not I hate to say that I got Odom, but I got Odom. The next one we've got San Diego Lyford. San Diego 1-0, Lyford 0-1, right? So this kind of sets the stage for San Diego. San Diego gets by this game. They set up a granted
Foul
nothing
championship
happened in
possibly.
district championship last weekend against Falfurrias, right? If they both go through undefeated. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be a pretty good one. Our guy RJ is kind of leading the charge on that team. Um, he did very well in the air and on the ground, had it split pretty good. I think 168 in the air, 132 on the ground last week, touchdown passing and touchdown on the ground. In a come from behind win against Santa Gratuitous that game, unless they weren't updating it correctly, Santa
No,
Gratuitous
I
led.
think it was a comeback game.
Santa Gratuitous led a lot of that game, and then they finally jumped in there and took the lead.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
really got a lot to touch on that one other than the fact that, yeah, you are right. San Diego and foul. That's looking like the DC. But you gotta play the game on Friday, right? And I think San Diego has done a good job at keeping their kids involved and whatnot. They had that one slip up to Orange Grove, which I think still shocks some people. But hey, 5-1 versus 4-2, that should be a good matchup. I think Lyford's going to bring a good crowd. San Diego will bring a good crowd, but I'm going to roll with the Vaqueros here. I think RJ Valerio and them are going to be a little too much for Lyford.
I do too. And sorry, my Lyford, because I told you I like to get attached to a team, and Lyford's a team attached to in the Valley. But besides the Cardinals, and yeah, I'm gonna have to go with San Diego on this one too. STFU Karma continues, right?
Yep.
Continues. Then the other
No
one we
way to
got
lose
just
this week.
yeah, just like Larissa said, sitting in Orange Grove, sitting 1-0 in district, coming off that 83-point win,
The mixed
and
bag.
and Orange Grove 0-0. They were on a bye week the first week of district, so yeah, mixed bag coming out of sitting, right? Which sitting team are we gonna get?
I think you're going to get the same team that beats Orange Grove.
Okay.
I just feel like the way Troutman and them coach these guys, the defense they rely heavily on it. It's been good. It's been what's working for them. I think they continue on, and it's gonna all roads lead to the Sinton and Ingleside matchup, right? For what I think we have the district championship set for in that district as well. But Orange Grove obviously here to play spoiler, could play spoiler. I mean, crazier things have happened to us in these pick'ems.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning more Sinton. I feel like they're a lot battle tested. They've went through a lot of adversity this year, and they sit there at 4-3. Tough loss to Lavernia a couple weeks ago, and then they come out and they get it going against Robstown, so you're going to have the momentum rolling from there, I think, as well. So I think Sinton's going to be a little too much for Orange Grove to handle, and I think Sinton will do a nice job of kind of keeping Orange Grove in check.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with you on that one as well. I think Sitton's D is gonna be too much. That's where their strength is right now, right? The D is
That's the
setting the
strength,
table
man.
for
That's
that.
what they're relying on.
It's setting the table for that offense, short fields and whatnot, and their special teams. Um, Ray is doing very well back there. The defensive front with Logan DeWald and Cooper Dawkins are doing very well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say that. Amelia, sorry, Imelda, we're gonna go against you. Even though I've given out 2 helmet stickers to 2 Orange Grove players back to back weeks.
Yeah.
I just think I think Sitton's got too much on the defensive side. And then our last game, West Oso versus Robstown, both 0-1 to start the district. West Oso down to Ingleside last week, and Robstown, just like we said, the aforementioned Sitton. This is potential. My eyes right now. This is for a
It's a
playoff
playoff
spot.
game.
It's a playoff spot, right? I mean, Robstown looking to crack to get into the playoffs, and West Oso trying to keep that streak alive of making the playoffs. So I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think West Oso is gonna ride Huffy in this one, and I think they're going to score a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think just being out there at that practice with West Oso, the kids seemed really locked in tonight. The small 20 minutes I got of watching them, they have really good coaching going on over there. Shout out to Coach Smithy and his guys. Elijah Huff, I think, continues this week. I'm going to call him for over 200 this week. I think he might. I think he's gonna touch over 250 to be honest with you this week on the ground. So which would be huge for him in that record. But obviously it's team sport, and I think West Oso. If you look at their offense throughout the season, I want to say they're averaging close to 40 something points a game. The only downside is they've given up a lot of points defensively. But I think they'll do enough to keep Robstown in check and keep them going forward. And I think you'll see West Oso pull away by a score or two, maybe a couple scores actually in this game. And I think Elijah Huff is setting up for a really nice game as well this week.
Yep. And
Luke. Oh, dude, you're janky.
4-team district. So it's a 4-team district. Everybody gets in, but it's who wins it, right? Who wins it in this case? That's is it Port Isabel, Bishop, Hidalgo? Fill me in, Kent. I can't remember. Luke, we got a question for you. Did Ace ever beat Beeville in junior high? We'll wait for your answer.
Okay, hey, you heard it here first. AC Williams put 360 on it. So if Elijah does not go over 360, AC's buying us Whataburgers in the book. Noted. If he goes over 360, I got AC on a Whataburger.
All right, we got receipts. It's
I
on
hope
here.
I have to pay AC a Whataburger.
We have 37 people here that heard that and saw it live, and there's going to be about 2,000 more that'll see it on the replay. And before we go, oh, see, they beat each other. There you go. So
I thought both times they lost. He went 0-2 against them. But I know it was a rivalry because me and Luke talked about that when he was in junior high. It was a rivalry. So if you go back and watch that, Luke, like 20, 30 minutes ago.
Hey, wait, did you just make this deal with did AC throw that at you, or did you just make that up?
I threw it at AC. I hope I have to buy a Whataburger. I hope he gets 400 yards on the ground.
Well, he said deal.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So our segment that was short-lived and shortly gone is back. I was too close to the camera there, but
read them out for us, dude.
Rebecca's got her picks in. Wow. Okay. Each. Heavenville over Odom.
Oh, that's why she put the face. I love it. Yes.
Rockport over Beeville. Lyford over San Diego. Sitton over Orange Grove. Robstown over West Oso. And, of course, Cal Allen over Alice.
Oh, she can't let it go.
Yeah. Hey, Marky, how you doing, bud? A helmet sticker award recipient there. Our first one. Right? Marky Gonzalez checking in. You just missed all the talk about you, Mark. Sorry, man. Your shirts should be in the mail. Hopefully, get there tomorrow, Friday, maybe. Justin, you got anything else before we go? You guys got any other questions before we go? Now's the time.
Man, not really. Shoot, dude, we're in week 8. This is kind of going by fast. I'm glad that we got back onto it. I wanted to talk about this in the beginning when you talked about us consistently doing this. I'm glad that this year we've kind of made ourselves get back on this. I think we've done a lot of good things. A lot of good things have happened for us, which all eventually benefits the kids. And it's fun, right? So I've enjoyed coming out to these practices, giving these helmet stickers away. I think the little mini helmets for the players of the week is going to be super cool to hand out to the kids as well. And
Yes, they do.
I'm glad that we got a lot of support and people tuning into the show. It's nice whenever you know the local kids around here get the credit that they deserve. So it's fun, and you know the coaches love it, the kids love it, I love it, you love it. I mean that's why we do this. So just appreciate all the support and the people tuning in and watching the show, and you know hopefully we can continue on the next couple of weeks and we get in the playoffs and get a little more maybe hands on with some of the guys as some of our teams drop out and whatnot. And it's going to be fun. Next couple of weeks are ramping up. This is the best time of the year. It's nice. It's getting cold out there. Playoffs are starting to come around. We got some really good finales in the districts that are going to be fun to look at. And then, of course, you're going to have a big angry man sighting every now and then. You got to love that at Rockport games.
You know, I think the big angry man's going to be tampered down a little bit, man. He's got a big life-changing event coming up pretty soon, man. I think that he's going to be kind of tempered down a little bit. But yeah,
so one of these hats, man. Get you one of these hats. These things are slick. It's my favorite hat to date.
Yeah, and we're always coming out with something different. We'll obviously come out with different colors and things like that too. Man, I got a new shirt made as well. I just hadn't got it out yet. I just got it in today.
That's typical.
Yeah, I know. I can send the intern out to go get it real quick. Julian. Oh, he's not in here. Hang on. Hey, do me a favor. Come here. Yeah, this is my home life, guys. You're checking in on my home life here. Hey, there's a 3/4 sleeve black and white t-shirt hanging in my closet. Go bring it.
Okay, 3/4 shirt.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there he is. He made an appearance.
Yeah, there he is. Okay. Yeah.
In.
All right. Hurry up. People are waiting. People are waiting, dude. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed if I've told you guys this story yet. I record out of my son's room now because his PC is a lot more powerful than mine. So he gets very upset because he just has to hide behind the green screen and just wait for me to get off here.
What's that movie? Or it's on Happy Gilmore when he's hitting the food over the window. Take this, leave us alone.
So there's my new one.
Oh, that's slick.
Nice little 3/4 baseball shirt that we got going in. We got those. We could pump those out pretty soon too.
Your wife summons you to the bed, but hey, real quick, Becca, while you're listening, I told him earlier I'm going to I'm converting all my wardrobe over to STFU gear. I just figure I might as well sell out. So anything I have that's going to be STFU gear.
It definitely is, Christy. They always get the better stuff. Yeah, so I'm hijacking this stuff now, and I have been since we started doing the show again, just because of this new studio and how much power it uses. But yeah, guys, again, man, we still have 34 people here and we're just rambling. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you guys like to check in. Just like Justin said, man, thank y'all so much, because if it wasn't for y'all, really, if it wasn't for the views, if it wasn't for the likes, if it wasn't for the follows, we wouldn't be able to pull these sponsors on that we're getting that want to help us help the kids, right? To help recognize these kids. And that is our main goal. We've said that from day one when we started this thing, is that we didn't want to monetize this thing, and we still haven't monetized this thing. Essentially, we're getting sponsors to cover the bills for these trophies and the decals. So thank you guys, man. Without y'all, we wouldn't be able to recognize our kids.
Yeah.
But man, that's all I got, dude. It's 9 going on 9:30. We're going on we're going on an hour and 23. This was supposed to be shorter, but again, sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully this transfers well when I have to upload it to Spotify.
Oh yeah. If you weren't here earlier, Jacob left the whole show. Maybe look like a buffoon for like 5 minutes there.
But again, guys, I could just ramble on here forever, but we're gonna close out here. Again, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we're gonna let y'all go. Till next week.